Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to cruise.com evening webinars. And today we have Globus Family of Brands and Richard. Thank you for coming and bringing us this beautiful product, which I have participated in Globus on a trip through Spain. And I'm going to tell you, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever done. So thank you for bringing us this gorgeous product.
Thank you, Melvis. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. Well, hello, everyone. I hope you are well and you've had a great summer. My name is Richard Hickey, and I am the Senior Director of Key Accounts for the Globus family of brands. And Cruise.com, who's hosting this with me, is a key account. So they are a very knowledgeable and powerful agency in the travel industry today. So tonight I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Globus family of brands and talk to you about the type of vacations we offer, both on land and river cruising. But when you look at the Globus family of brands, you're looking at a company that's celebrating 96 years in business this year. So we've been providing vacations for over 96 years. And today, we are on 6 continents and 71 countries with about 543 vacations for you to choose from. So we're kind of like your one-stop shop for land touring, escorted touring, and river cruising over in Europe and Southeast Asia. I'm going to start off talking about the guided land tour business first and give you a breakdown of our 2 touring brands. So we have Classic Globus and we have Value-Minded Cosmos. So Classic Globus is where you go fully escorted first-class vacations. Most of your excursions are included. You do have some optional excursions. It's typically a 4-star hotel right in the heart of the city center. And we do include breakfast daily, plus select lunches and dinners included, depending on the tour that you're on. Then we have Cosmos. And Cosmos is a little bit more for the value-minded, budget-savvy vacationer. Some excursions, but we do have more free time for you to explore on your own. We have 3-star properties that are conveniently located right outside the city center. Some meals, but again, more time for you to go off on your own and choose. And we see the solo travel, the single traveler, really gravitating towards the Cosmos. So basically, you have a 4-star experience and a 3-star experience when you're traveling with Globus and Cosmos. So let's take a look at the power of touring with Globus and Cosmos. So when you look at the power of touring, we focus on these 3 key points: the ease of vacation, the value, and the experience. So when you look at the ease, all the logistics are taken care of. We're going to meet you at the airport. You won't have to worry about getting tickets into the attractions like the Coliseum as well. We have happy lines called VIP lines. So you go right up to the front of the line and you don't have to wait 2 to 3 hours in some of these venues that we do go, especially in peak season right here. We have tour directors that have been with us for 15 years and more, so they're very knowledgeable. So again, everything, all the logistics are taken care of for you when you're traveling with Globus and Cosmos. And also you have to look at the value. Each year, we look at the price and the value of a tour, and we want to make sure that we're going to be extending the best value to you. So on average, we're going to save you about 40% when you do book through Cruise.com, because what's included: the transportation, the hotels, most meals, guide, excursions. And I think it's really important now to take a look at maybe touring as a inflation fighter, because we have long-standing relationships with hotel partners and travel partners around the world. So we lock in these fares. We lock in the best rates years in advance, and we pass them on to you. So it is a great value when it comes to touring. And then you have to look at the experience. So we go beyond the tour books, the internet, when you're looking at guide, and it's all about the experience. You could experience truffle farming in Italy with a farmer, truffle hunting with a farmer in Italy with his dog. You can experience a meal in Iceland with a chef cooking over the heat of a geyser, okay, in Iceland. Right here in our backyard in Arizona, we can go to the Antelope Slot Canyon, where we have a tour with a Navajo guide, exclusive with a Navajo guide. Or up on the top right-hand corner, we go down to South America, we go into Peru and Lake Titicaca. It's the largest freshwater lake in North and South America, and it's what you've got is these islands that are built with this waterproof plant that they tie them together and they create these little islands and these huts there. So again, it's about the experience, but also, as I mentioned, our tour guides. On average, they've been with us about 15 years, and they're very knowledgeable with the destination. So they're going to share their knowledge, they're going to share their experience, and they're going to create these real wow moments for you when traveling. Let's take a look at a couple types of touring options that we do have, because we do have up to 15 ways of touring. Here it is right here. So we have small group discoveries. You can go anywhere from 2 to 2 dozen. We can customize a tour for you. We have choice touring that gives you the flexibility to choose tours based on your interest and activity. We have undiscovered tours. Maybe you've been to a certain destination and you want to go off the beaten path, less crowds and less noise. We have these undiscovered tours. We have independent tours that you can tour without a group. Maybe you just want to go off on your own, but want the support of a guide. We have off-season touring with escapes. We call it thicker wallets, less crowds. It's in the winter season over in Europe, and it's very affordable, $2,000, including air. You can combine a cruise and a tour. You can go into the Mediterranean. You can do a land tour and do a cruise. Or up in the Baltic states, up into the Arctic, you can do a nice land tour and do a cruise down Norway. And also with Alaska, we tour Alaska and do a cruise there as well. We had faith-based cruises. We have special events you can attend. You can extend the hot balloon festivities in New Mexico, the Iditarod. So take a look at these and kind of see what might fit your experience and need in a vacation when touring. So let's take a look at choice touring. So I said choice touring, this allows you to choose tours based on your interest and activity and select destinations. So let's go to Scotland. Scotland by design. So this is a tour that will start in Edinburgh and end in Glasgow. So where you see those numbers, you get to choose 2 to 3 tours based on your interest and activity. So right now, I'm going to take you to Pitlochry in Scotland. And these are the 3 choices you get to choose from. You can go to a spa and hang out in the spa over in Scotland. If some of you are golfers, this is a bucket list destination for golfers because this is where golf originated. You can play a round of golf. Or some of you that may be into history, want to go over and delve in history with a castle, drink some tea, maybe some whiskey, and have some scones. The beauty is you get to choose these tours at no additional cost. So I know I'm a golfer. I'm going to definitely play golf. My girlfriend wants nothing to do with golf, so she may go to a spa or go to the castle. We're going to come back at the end of the day and we're going to share our experience at the hotel. So this is choice touring. You get to choose tours based on interest at no additional cost. And then, as I mentioned, we have these undiscovered tours. This is where we're going to take you off the beaten path, less crowds, less noise. And we have a series of tours in Europe and back here in North America. We kind of say off the beaten piazza, as you see in my screen here on Zoom. So let's take a look at undiscovered tours, a couple popular ones. So we have this Hidden Treasures of Southern Italy. Say you've been to Venice and you've been to Rome, and you just want to find some more destinations in Italy. So this is our real popular one, where you can start in Naples and you end up in Sorrento. So you've got exposure over to the Amalfi Coast. And then you go over into the Puglia region, into the heel and the boot of Italy. You get into Bari, you get into Lecce. These are some really quaint areas where you do overnights. You really get to experience the cuisine, the architecture, and the history as well. We have a combination of these tours between Italy, Spain, and Portugal as well. So if you're looking for those tours off the beaten path, take a look at our undiscovered tours over in Italy. We also have them right here in our backyard in North America. This is a real popular one, Lost Canyons of the Southwest, where you would start in Phoenix and end up in Las Vegas. Some of the highlights, the Verde Canyon Railroad. This is the old vintage rail cars that you get to experience cruising around the Jerome area. We go into Sedona, Montezuma Castle. This is where you're going to go into Antelope Slope Canyon, where you're going to be able to experience with a Navajo guide. I don't know if any of you are fans of the Eagles band, but you're going to go to Winslow and you're going to be standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, if you remember that song. So these are types of experiences that we have here in our own backyard with Lost Canyons of the Southwest. And then we're going to take you to what we call Independence by Globus. Now, this is if you want to travel without a group. Most of our tours, our classic tours, on a motor coach, you'll have up to 38 guests, on average about 38 guests. But maybe you want to kind of go more independent, and that's where Independence by Globus comes in. We have a series of city stays and exotic stores. So we have city stays in Europe, where you can see London, Rome, Paris. You can combine all these cities where you see those in bold print. Those are some new city tours that we've added this year. We've got Edinburgh, we've got Amsterdam, Dublin, Belfast, Barcelona, Madrid, Malaga. And then also, if you're looking for the exotic destinations, over in Asia, Hiroshima, Osaka, we've got Delhi and the Dubai. And of course, if you're looking for our exotic tours, we have Africa. We've got private safaris in Africa with private guides as well in Nepal. So these are unique because they are independent, but you have the support of a local host. So here's an independent 7-day city stay. If you're interested over to go into Spain, here's what happens. You fly into Barcelona. You're going to meet our guide, our local guide. Our local guide's going to take you to the airport. Now, what's going to happen is you do have one included tour, and he's going to give you all this information of the area. You're going to have an app on your phone called the Go app, and it's going to give you all the information of the area, and it's going to give you dining recommendations as well. So you have 3 days in Barcelona. You always have access to that host. He's going to take you to the train station on the last day. You're going to hop on the train. We include the train ride, and off you're going to go to Madrid, and the same experience there. You're going to meet the host. You have that included tour, city tour if you want it. Go off on your own, get dinner on your own, but you always have access to the host. So it's kind of what we call in the industry as what's called an FIT, fully individual travel experience. So that's Independence by Globus when you're traveling as well. Now we're going to transition into river cruising because, as I said, we do river cruise over in Europe and Southeast Asia. And this is a segment of the industry that has really become popular over the last 10 years, especially after what I call the great pause referred to as COVID. So Avalon Waterways, we currently own and operate 16 what we call panorama suite ships. And when you look at river cruising today, it's really popular because it offers the best of two worlds. It offers the best of a land tour, okay, that I just talked about, where the ship is your mode of transportation and you have the motor coaches that follow the ship. And as you wake up in the morning, the motor coach is there and you go off on and tour, but you come back to the ship, okay? But it's also the best of an ocean cruise because you unpack once, right? You unpack once for those of you who've been on an ocean cruise, and you've got the amenities and services of a big ship just on a smaller scale. We have multi-dining experiences, large suites. We have innovations as well. It's interesting because those of you who are ocean cruisers, about 75% of our guests do come from ocean cruising. River cruising allows you to really experience the destination in an intimate atmosphere, okay? We see up to about 162 guests on our ship. Some hold 128. We've got a ship that holds 102 on the Douro that I'll talk about. So you're experiencing these destinations with low passenger count, high crew attention, which is high guest satisfaction. So for every 3 guests on board, we have a crew member that's going to take care of you. Smaller ships, bigger experiences. And remember, when you're on a river cruise, we're going to take you through the country. We're going to take you right through the heart of the country, and we're going to dock right in the heart of town of these fairy tale towns and these fabled cities, where an ocean cruise is going to take you to a country on the coastal side. So that's really the differences that you're going to find. When you look at a ship, a river ship, as you see right here, you'll notice the ships over in Europe. We can just be so long, so wide, and so tall. And that's because we do have to get through the locks and under the bridges, okay? Our ships over in Europe are the largest lengthwise to get through, but we don't hold as many passengers. Some cruise lines will hold up to 190, so we focus on more spacious accommodations in public rooms. We're known for our awards. There's a website out there called Cruise Critic that we continue to be the highest rated cruise line in our category for shore excursions, for overall staterooms, for overall experience. So it's a true testament to what our crew does on board and what we do on shore with our tours. Because when you're a tour company originally, you know what we're doing on land. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary with Avalon Waterways. Give you an idea of the interior of the ship, nicely appointed. In the lounge, we've got the nice lounge area. On the bottom left-hand corner and the very back of the ships, we have what's called the club lounge. This is an area that you've got access 24 hours. We've got some great coffee machines back there. We have our vitamin water station. We have snacks, cookies and nuts. Out on the top deck, you've got the sun deck area. You've got the bar. So nicely appointed areas for you to enjoy. So these are what we focus on and what's different with Avalon Waterways and the other river cruise lines that are out there. It's our suites and it's our dining and it's our tours. So when you take a look at our suites, one of the things we've done is we've done away with typical French balconies and step-out balconies that you see on normal river cruise lines. We have what's called the open-air balcony. This is our most stunning innovation. We've got mattresses that you can adjust the firmness. We have room service. You've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner that you can have in your stateroom. Fresh water daily. We have L'Occitane products in the bathrooms. So just a really nice appointed experience. This is a great view of the open-air balcony. So here's what happens. You've got a large glass window that's 11 feet wide. It opens up to 7 feet, and the bed faces the window. So no matter what the weather's like, no matter what the landscape's like, you're always going to be able to look out your window. Remember, we have room service. Okay, we do have room service. What's nice is we don't take away from the space of a stateroom by building a balcony on there. So you're having 30% more space to your stateroom. Our stateroom's balcony, the panorama suite, start at 200 square feet and go up to 300 square feet. Our lead-in stateroom is about 172 square feet, and you have a private window down there. But I encourage you, because 80% of our staterooms have these panorama suites. Once you go in those, you'll never go back, okay? Nice appointments. This is the bathrooms, marble counters, marble floors. We have the different colored towels. We have the L'Occitane products, nice size showers in there as well for you to enjoy. Let's talk dining, because dining is really important on any cruise, really. And we really take dining serious on board Avalon Waterways. So obviously, we're going to be preparing meals based on the regions you're going to be cruising to. But we do recognize that guests do have certain dietary needs. So we have 2 Viennese brothers that are actually vegan, that have created our fresh fare menu. So say you have some dietary needs on board. What's going to happen is you're going to get on board and you're going to meet with our chefs, and they're going to prepare a meal, a menu specifically for you throughout the cruise, okay? But if you don't have any dietary needs, I encourage you to check out the regional cuisine that we're going to be going. Or if you're like me, you just want a good old sirloin steak, maybe a Caesar salad, piece of salmon or a grilled chicken, you can get that too, or a hamburger, because we do have those alternative menus as well. When you look at dining, we have several areas to dine. We have the Panorama Dining Room where all three meals are served, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have the Panorama Bistro, which is up on the top lounge, where it's a light menu from the main dining room. You do have tapas in the evening. We have the Sky Grill up on top where we're going to have some barbecues. And as I mentioned, room service. Now, we do have a fleet of bikes. If you want to go off on your own on a bike ride, we're going to pack a lunch basket for you, and you can go off on your own. And what I really like about our dining experience is called flex dining. So right after the lounge, the port talk. So every evening at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a port talk. And the cruise director is going to recap what happened during the day, and then he's going to talk about what's happening tomorrow. And at 7 o'clock, the restaurant opens. But you don't have to rush in. You can show up anywhere between 7 and 8:30 and have your nice meal, and you're not rushed out. So that's what I really like about flex dining. Sometimes on river cruising, it can be very regimented. Every night we have happy hour. So at 6 o'clock during that port talk, we open up the bar and the spirits flow, the beers and the wines for an hour. Do know that we do have complimentary beer, wine, and soft drinks at lunch and dinner, and sparkling wine at breakfast. Outside those hours, we are going to charge you for beverages except for the happy hour. So after happy hour, you go down and you have a nice meal in the dining room as well. So let's take a look at the destinations that we're cruising and some of the itineraries. So this is our world over in Europe. So you can basically cruise from the North Sea out of Amsterdam, down the Rhine through Germany, into the Main Canal, connecting it to the Upper Danube in Nuremberg, Germany, and then you'll cruise the Upper Danube down into the Lower Danube and the Black Sea. Okay, this is where our bigger ships are, carry up to 160 guests on the Rhine, Main, Danube, and I'll talk a little about some of the itineraries. We have 3 ships in France. So France is really a popular destination these days. You can cruise Burgundy, the south of France, from Chalon-sur-Saône down into Arles area, or you can cruise the historic Seine River out of Paris, going into Le Havre and experiencing Normandy beaches, the landings of Normandy beaches, which you just celebrated the 80th anniversary this year. And what's happening in Paris in the next week or two, it's the Olympics. We're really pleased because in March of 2025, we're going to be going into the Bordeaux wine region. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. That's new also. And new for us this year, we started sailing in Portugal, in northern Spain, on the Douro, out of Porto. This is a very unique river as well. So we offer 8 to 15-day cruises on average, but we are combining multi-river cruises. You can cruise, like I said, from the North Sea down to the Black Sea in about 27 days if you wanted to combine all these rivers. So let's take a look at some of the destinations. But when you go ashore, you have a choice of tours. You have classic, active, and discovery. Our classic tours are your must-see venues. That's going to be your city tour where you see the iconic castles, landmarks, fortresses, if you will. And then for those of you that are active, we introduced active and discovery cruises back in 2017, and they've become very popular. Active is hiking, biking, and kayaking. And discovery, these are the immersive experiences. This is where we're going to take you to a cooking class, a baking class, wine tasting out in caves in France, beer tasting. So again, the total immersion experiences on the discovery side, hiking, biking, kayaking on active side. Why are these popular? Well, we have them on all of our rivers in Europe. We have more unique port cities, more ports to call on, up to 28 included excursions. So there's a really high value. And for those of you who have some teens, young adults, it's great for the families, okay? Because the teens can go off and be active, and the parents can go off and be immersive in the discovery experiences. So here's a great cruise. This is the Best of the Rhine, a very popular cruise. So this is where you're going to go from Frankfurt to Basel, going down in the Rhone, and you've got some great stops in Strasbourg, Black Forest. Some of the experiences you'll be able to see is Rudesheim. You have some great coffee, German coffee, as you're cruising the Rhine Gorge. What's great about the Rhine Gorge is you've got about 41 miles of nothing but castles and fortresses. It's a beautiful area. So you'll be cruising through the Rhine Gorge and drinking some coffee. Strasbourg, French little area. This is the great picture of Strasbourg in this slide here, with these A-frame houses that you'll be able to enjoy. You learn about German winemaking at a local winery, or a full-day excursion into the Black Forest in Germany, where you can do some hiking and experience the open-air museum, which is a really highlight this area. So those are just some of the inclusion tours that you'll be able to experience on the Rhine. Here's a great example of what a classic tour, classic cruise compared to an active and discovery. So this is the romantic Rhine, Amsterdam to Basel. Same on the active and discovery on the Rhine, Amsterdam to Basel. You can see the amount of tours. So you got 6 classic, 4 active, 3 discovery on romantic Rhine. And on the active and discovery, you've got 6 active, 6 discovery, and 6 classic. Here's the key difference I was going to tell you. So let's go into Amsterdam. Amsterdam's known for its 62 miles of canals. Okay, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. On the romantic classic, you'll be able to experience Amsterdam in the boats. They have the covered boats that you cruise around. On the active and discovery, you can experience these canals in a kayak if you want to. All right. So it's important to know the differences if you're on an active and discovery or a classic cruise. Okay, right there. The south of France on the Rhone, this is departing in Lyon or Arles, vice versa, going back and forth on 7-day, getting to Viviers and Avignon. I just did this cruise in March. It's really a great experience. Tournon as well. You've got that aqueduct right there that you see. Some of the experiences we got really cool. It's you experience this underground wine tasting in this cave with a guide. There's a picture of some guests right there in Viviers. You can do a cooking class in Lyon, a guided bike tour in Avignon, which I did, or you can experience the painting and be like Pango. We have a painting workshop in Arles as well. So just some of the highlights that you'll be able to experience on the Burgundy south of France. And as I mentioned, Portugal, this is a really popular destination, both on land and in river. So we started cruising on the Douro this year, round trip out of Porto. This is the birthplace of port wine. So we've got some great wine tours and some history as well. What's unique about this river, it's a very narrow river and the locks are closed at night. So you are in port. Most of the other rivers that we do cruise in Europe, you'll be cruising at night and in port during the day. This is a combination where you're in port during the day and at night, but also cruising at night as well. The ship is smaller. It's the Alegria, which means happiness in Portuguese, and she only carries 102 guests as well. Some of the highlights here, you go into some of these charming towns in Regao. There's a lot of architecture there, narrow streets, tiles. You go all the way into the border of Spain, into northern Spain, and you have a full day tour into Salamanca. It's a university town. You get a lot of that Spanish flair over there as well. One of the highlights is going into the Coa Valley and the Villa de Voscao. This is an area that dates back to prehistoric periods where you see some prehistoric rock art as well. And then one of my favorites was we were in Porto and we did it by a guided bike tour on the wharf with a biologist, and we stopped at various areas along the ocean there, and we were pointing out certain key sightseeing as well. So these are give you an idea of what's going to happen in the Douro. And then, as I said, we're going into Bordeaux. We start going there in March of 2025, covering all wine regions. So you've got the Medoc area where there's a lot of nice red wines, Cabernets, Libourne, Saint-Emilion. This is a principal winemaking area. And you have Cadillac, which is down south, which is a lot of white wines and dessert wines, okay? This is round trip out of Bordeaux. This is a unique river. Because there's not a lot of distance in between these ports, so you don't have much cruising time. So you have some really nice experience on the Dordogne and the Garonne rivers as you're cruising round trip of Bordeaux. But remember, as we look at these cruises, you can always do a pre and post stay as well. The advisors at cruise.com will have it, will bring you in early or extend your vacation as well, because we have these pre and post hotels. Or we're seeing very popular, we have a lot more longer cruises in 2025, 16 longer cruises. So if you have the time, you can combine Bordeaux with the Seine River out of Paris for 15 days. You can combine the south, the Burgundy on the Rhone, the Seine out of Paris, and Bordeaux for 22 days, Arles to Bordeaux. Or if you want to get over to Basel, you want to do the Rhine, you can do 20 days between Vineyard, Chateau, and Bordeaux. So there's a lot of opportunity if you have the discretionary time to combine multi-river tours as well to make your experience a little bit lengthier. Enjoy the destinations. We also have a small ship in the Mekong. We've got the Avalon Saigon. She only carries 36 guests. She goes from Phnom Penh to Ho Chi Minh or reverse. It's an 8-day cruise, but do know you have a 3-day extension into Cambodia to go up to Angkor Wat, and we have up to Halong Bay. So a lot more time can be spent over there, but we do have our core 7-day cruise from Ho Chi Minh to Phnom Penh and back as well. That's a bucket list destination. Right now, we do have complimentary prepaid gratuities on select. Hold on, let me just go back a minute. I want to just talk a little bit about the destinations, river cruising. So I just want to bring to your attention, I'm sorry, that cruising in Europe starts in March, okay? Starts in March. The season goes from March until November, October, November, and then we have what's called the Christmas market cruises. It's called the festive time. So they do Christmas markets, but the core season in Europe is from March until October, November, and then we have a couple ships that do the Christmas markets on the Rhine and Danube. But again, we have prepaid gratuities on select departures for 24 and 25 on the Active and Discovery. For 24 and 25 now, we're still seeing a lot of guest booking for 2024. We're only halfway through the season. You can get a free upgrade to one of those panorama suites. And then on Globus, you can save up to $1,000 on 2025 Europe and North America tours, or $400 on Cosmos on select Europe and North America tours. And then for attending tonight, being part of cruise.com, if you book within 2 weeks on a 7-day land or river cruise, 7+ day land and river cruise, we're going to give you a $50 per person discount on any 24 and 25 departure. And that's it. Melvis, we can open up for any questions if there's any questions.
Thank you, Richard. So if anybody has any questions, please go ahead now. Richard, thank you for such a wonderful presentation. Your product is just incredible. Like I said, I took Globus to Spain, 14 days of just incredible tour.
Yeah, we do. You know, we've been around for a while, and